Today in the crypto space, Bitcoin and Ethereum still hovering around their typical levels, 26,000 for Bitcoin and 1,600 for Ethereum. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are pretty much waiting and very hesitant at this level to see if Bitcoin might get a bit of relief to the upside. However, there are still some dips. Look at Kaspa, Maker, and a few more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, today I want to do a quick update on Microvisionchain. The ticker is called Space. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. The socials are also a great place to hit me up if you have any requests. Guys, join me live at 7:30. That's actually the best place. The Discord is also really a hot community right there. Go check it out. Lots of good alpha being talked about throughout the day, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's look at what's happening here with this general market, guys. We can see that overall the market is looking a bit stagnant. You know, we've been waiting for Bitcoin. We've been waiting for Ethereum very patiently. You know, what could be happening in the immediate short term is the fact that we could be going sideways. And it's very possible. It's very possible that we see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of these altcoins potentially go sideways, but more so that if Bitcoin goes sideways, I am really interested to see how altcoins will react. Are altcoins going to do their thing, maybe get a bit of a catch up to Bitcoin, or are they going to just, you know, maybe go sideways while Bitcoin takes that dip? You know, that could be a very viable thing, because if Bitcoin goes sideways, and or maybe Bitcoin takes that dip and altcoins go sideways, we will definitely see the Bitcoin dominance react. The Bitcoin dominance will be in the favor of altcoins, but it doesn't mean that altcoins will be doing well. And for me, that's a big thing right now. I want to see altcoins, you know, show us some proof of life. You know, altcoins haven't been doing much. They've been just hanging out there at the bottom of the range. A lot of them, you know, just not doing really much or anything, especially the bigger, larger cap layer one altcoins. They're literally bleeding out and just hanging out there quite just, you know. In fact, some of them are creating lower lows. Look at Algorand, and you know, even Phantom's not doing so well, and many of these altcoins layer ones are just hanging out there. So what I'm really interested now is seeing what altcoins will be doing in the immediate short term. Bitcoin could be in a range bound scenario, and I'm prepared for that. And if it is, I'm also going to be preparing my portfolio for an altcoin season, just in case. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going all in. It doesn't mean that I'm deploying all my capital. I just want to be able to DCA at these lower levels, guys. We've been getting red price action for the last couple of days. Now, after a couple of days of price action, I think it would be a very responsible thing for us now to change lenses, to start looking in bullish scenarios, start looking at buy the dip scenarios, DCA scenarios, levels of horizontal support, start looking for patterns that suggest some bullishness, because after, you know, some double-digit dips, we can see there in the last 7 days, and some of these altcoins have been dipping out significantly even prior to 7 days. So we're talking about, you know, about 10 to maybe 20%, 10 to 15% dips throughout the market. Obviously some less, some more, but the reality is there are some good opportunities, especially with those tokens that have basically rallied up with some great strength early on. Right now, you see Kaspa, and you look at the last 7 days, it's only been down 3.5%. But guys, zoom out, look prior to the last 7 days, this thing's been coming down, and Kaspa has been quite bullish. And overall, I feel like Kaspa is looking for a bigger rollover. So one thing to be said is, you know, if there's a bullish project, if there's a bullish narrative, there's nothing wrong with taking profit, because at the end of the day, we could look for another project, another narrative, and there's so many coming around. Right now, it's a very sideways market. We do have a few, like Near Protocol, waking up just a little bit. I like Near Protocol. It hit the bottom of the range, last line in the sand type of scenario for Near Protocol. And, you know, and a lot of these projects are in a very similar boat. And that's why if anything, now's not a bad time to buy the dip, just to get a little bit of exposure there at the last line. If we do get a bounce, great. If we don't, guys, extension levels are very possible. 1.27 extensions, 1.618 extensions. But reality is that this is the time. This is the time to get in when people are fearful, when people are afraid. This is when you say, you know what, I'm going to put a little bit in. I'm not saying all of it, but just put a bit in and see what happens. And we are getting, what else do we get here? Thorchain, bit of a dip. We're creating lower lows and lower highs, as can be seen. A bit of a trend to the downside. What else here? The rest of Sui waking up just a little bit, 10%. Pretty good. 24 hours, 10% gains. Looking like a nice rally up, guys. That's not bad. Casper Network, 4%. So we're getting a bit of relief there, but you can see we are still in a sideways channel. So although some of these altcoins could be showing a bit of strength in the immediate short term, don't be fooled, because at the end of the day, right now, there's a big picture bearishness happening right now with Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins. Okay, so guys, my overall consensus right now with the market, generally speaking, is yes, we're getting a few projects that go rogue and do their own thing, right? Injective protocol looking strong, 4%, 5%, still going sideways. We had Sui looking okay and a few others, but generally speaking, guys, look at this market. The market right now in the top 100 is looking sideways and dumpy. Now, is the dump over? I don't know, guys, but I think we need to take a look at charts. Let's begin our analysis looking at Bitcoin. Of course, we're going to begin with Bitcoin, and then we're going to take a look at some of these alts. We're going to look at Space, Microvision chain. Space is the ticker, guys. That's what this video is all about. But I do feel like we need to take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, just as a quick update to see what is happening here with the Bitcoin price. Because if Bitcoin does continue coming down, I do expect that the altcoin market will follow Bitcoin's lead. Now, it doesn't mean that like I said, Bitcoin dominance is a very, very important thing. If Bitcoin loses some strength here and starts dipping, I'm curious to see what will happen to altcoins. Now, what about if Bitcoin gets some support right here at this horizontal bottom of the volume gap at about 25,000? Very, very nice psychological level. Okay, nice round number. Previous highs right here. Nice horizontal previous low. Nice horizontal, now getting a bit of a reaction. Could Bitcoin be getting some support right here, right now? And what will happen to altcoins if Bitcoin gets that bounce? So that's the biggest question right now. If Bitcoin does go sideways, is it going to be the opportunity for altcoins to rally up? And that's why I've been focusing significantly on altcoins. So that's what I want to say here with regards to Bitcoin. On the daily, we see the RSI fully reset to oversold conditions. The MACD right now painting some pale pink histogram bars, and the EMAs are still facing down fine, but they look like they want to start rolling over, but nothing confirmed yet. So don't just front run this just yet. You can see that there's no sign of bullish divergence also on the daily on the RSI. So we're gonna be very patient. On the 4 hour though, you do see a little bit of an interesting thing happening. Price action going sideways while the RSI is moving up, right? So that's a good thing. That's class B bullish divergence that's happening right here. But I do expect, I would like to see what would happen, and if it does happen, for the momentum to take a little bit of a dip again, to see a higher low. Okay, a higher low on the momentum for me would be great. Obviously, a higher low, a confirmation low, a higher low. But what would happen to the price? Would the price make a lower low? And it's very possible that the price makes that lower low while the RSI makes a higher low. And what is that? That's class A bullish divergence. A class A bullish divergence right at this level of horizontal for me would be a great place to go long. And given once again on the daily, we are oversold. In my opinion, getting into calculated risks to go long is not a bad idea. It's just calculated risk right now. So what you're looking for is horizontals, and you're looking for bullish divergence, and then you're going to start to look for structure. Right now, there is no structure on the daily. We're coming down. We have it. In fact, it does look like a bear flag, a continuation to the downside that is very possible here. And on the day, on the 4 hour, the same thing. It's just that we're getting the beginning of potential sign of weakness for the bears, and in fact, maybe the bulls can be looking for some relief to the upside. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. I do feel if that happens, altcoins will rally up, and it may be the case that altcoins might start outperforming Bitcoin upon this recovery. If that is the case, if we get indications the altcoins are going to recover harder, and that means that the Bitcoin dominance will fall, Bitcoin's dominance will fall, altcoin dominance will increase, and we'll see an altcoin season. And guys, believe it or not, when you see Bitcoin range bound like this, and you can see highs, lows, very clear highs, if we come back to previous highs and we start pennanting out here in a sideways channel, that is a very key indicator that maybe we are going to be in an altcoin season. Okay, guys, so that's my take. I'll definitely keep you posted. Guys, join the Discord. I'm there all the time. Great community, lots of guys in there talking about crypto all day long. Go check that out. I think that we should be right now hustling as a community, trying to stay one step ahead of the market. Okay, let's begin looking at Space. The ticker is Space. It is Microvisionchain. I did cover Microvisionchain earlier on. Approximately 9 days ago, I did a deep dive. If you don't know what my deep dives are all about, they are basically full-fledged analysis on the project itself. You know, I get into a lot of the details, fundamentals, tokenomics, the team, what the cryptocurrency is all about, you know, what they're trying to achieve, their value propositions, all that good stuff. And then finally, I give you my verdict on what I think this project could achieve, given that, you know, their goals are met and all that good stuff. But in addition to that, whether, we should be getting heavy into the project. I like Microvisionchain. It's not a bad thing, not a bad project. I do like it. It has some, negatives. There are some positive. Guys, go check out that video. If you're interested in this project right here, Microvisionchain, I would definitely suggest that you go take a look. And obviously, I do release deep dives on many projects. My latest one was Taraxa, and I'm gearing up for another one. I release one every Sunday. And if you feel like you want to, basically request a deep dive, go on the Discord. There's a channel there where you can put in your requests. If you put in a request, I will definitely take it into consideration to do a deep dive on that project. I know right now is the best time to get fundamentally bullish so that we can, basically look into projects to prepare for the up and coming bull run, right? Especially the new projects that don't have much price action. We definitely want to stay one step ahead. So right now you're looking at Space. So Space Microvisionchain, you can see right now we are pretty much in a channel. But before I go into that detail, I want to just make you aware that I'm on the 4-hour right now, and that's pretty much the only place that I am comfortable trading this token or this project. You can see here if I get on the daily, which I usually like, trading on, there's not much price action. In fact, okay, fine, we're getting a bit more. In the past little while, all we had was this little V recovery. Now we got the V recovery. We got a nice high, a double top type of scenario. Just be aware that the majority of this top is wicks or are wicks. And here we are at the bottom of the range once again, guys. So range bound, pretty much range bound on the daily, and retracing back to the top of the volume gap at horizontal levels of support. So why am I bringing up this project right now and talking about this TA? It's because from a risk to reward ratio opportunity, this is not a bad time to get into a position. Now, there are some things that you got to be aware of. Obviously, this is a game of probability. There's no guarantees here that we're going to get a bounce and get to previous highs. But what I can say, from a calculated risk opportunity, you can definitely put a tight stop loss on the previous lows, in creating an invalidation that is so close to the current price action that your risk is mitigated. Your risk is very little in comparison to your reward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off putting in a trade setup right now, and I'm just going to get into some of the details here. You can see that we have that volume gap that's still there, right below. If we break below approximately $10.95, give or take, we could definitely come down to about $9.45. Now that's a significant dip. You can see looking left, there's no price action to hold up or act as support as it comes down. Okay, the volume is decreasing. You can see a slight decrease in volume bit by bit as the price action unfolds. You can see that the momentum oscillators, the RSI particularly, is showing us a significant retracement to lower levels and potentially looking for a full reset to oversold conditions. And if that does happen in the immediate short term, I am expecting to reach nice low levels for us to buy the dip. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, right? Because reality is there's not enough data here on the daily. All we do see in the market right now is what they're really seeing is a double bottom at good levels of support, and again, the risk to reward ratio being healthy. Are you going to give this RSI so much credit given the fact that it's not not really doing anything. In fact, if you look at it, it's in the 50% zone. And if you follow me on the channel, I do talk to you about my strategy. And a big part of my strategy is not to trade when the RSI, especially on the daily, is in the chop zone, which is the RSI being in the 50%. I don't like trading that level because there's a lot of sideways price action. Now, what does that mean for Microvision? What it really means is that maybe we could be in a channel here and kind of bouncing around here for the next little while the RSI kind of does its thing and figures out its trajectory. Are we going to actually get into overbought conditions with extreme levels? Because the last time we did on the daily, it barely peaked through. So is this just a back test for a continuation up, or are we actually going to get fully reset to oversold conditions so that we can buy the dips at lower levels? Guys, this is where now it's a bit of a coin toss, right? But if you look at price action and just price action in itself, you are in a scenario where you can get in from a healthy risk to reward ratio. Okay, let's get into the 4 hour, and then I'll show you a little bit more what I mean by plotting a trade setup. And of course, my trade setups are not financial advice. They're just suggesting, what kind of mindset you need to have if you're going to go long, right? Because the reality is there's many options here. You can not enter a trade, you can go long, or you can go short. Probability in statistics is a big part of your decision making. And here on the 4 hour, we basically barely got even close to the 30% mark, which is oversold conditions, which leads me to believe there is a little margin of risk that the bears still have a bit more oomph in them to bring the price to lower levels, which could be about $9.45 at the bottom of the volume gap, right? So, and we have again more support here based on previous price action, and this support right at this level does have a bit of volume. Look at the VPVR, that's where it starts to increase, and we have the point of control at about $8. So you can see that there are some levels of support below this current price action that could act as support, and we need to be prepared for it, because at the end of the day, the RSI is telling us, look, there's a bit of room here. I don't know why this thing turned red, but let me get out of this for a second. Why does it red when I click that? That's weird. Okay, anyways, is it the same? Pretty much the same. Okay, anyways, you can see that it didn't get into oversold conditions. I would like it to see it get into oversold as it did in the past. If it does this, then I'm bullish. The way it is right now, guys, it looks like it could be in the chop zone. It could get a bit of relief up. It could finally come down and get to those lower levels, and that's when you'll see the rest of the dip to the lower levels. Guys, this is very important. Now, of course, like I mentioned, from a risk to reward ratio, it is healthy to get into a long, considering the fact that you can put a stop loss underneath previous lows. And if you notice here, I have some spider lines. The spider lines now need to kind of go away, especially this one. It's not hypothetical anymore. This level of horizontal now has been proven to be a bit of support. Once, twice, 3 times now, we are getting reactions at this level. So that means that we can put a little bit more emphasis on this level, and we can put a little bit more confidence in this level that it could act as support going forward. Now, with that being said, there's no guarantees, but we can say, look, if it does get support, where would I put my stop loss? Right now, we can get entries right around the zone. Let me zoom in a little bit more. We can get entries right around this zone. We could definitely put a stop loss at previous lows. Okay, and we can identify the fact that there is a wick down here. Okay, there is a bit of a wick, but that wick has no volume. So you have some decisions to make. Are you going to include the wick in your stop loss, or you're going to exclude the wick? Personally, I don't really put too much of it in, because if you look at the VPVR, there's not much volume in that wick. It really does dip down to basically no volume. So my interest is to get as tight as a stop loss as I can to make my risk to reward ratio as healthy as possible. So right now, just quick plot right here, you can see that our risk to reward ratio is basically 4.5 to 1, give or take, which is very, very healthy. To the upside, you're looking at about where is it, 28% and a 6% potential loss if it would come down. Now that's a bit hefty, but you got to look at the potential gains here right now. I didn't even get to the previous highs or even to double tops or triple tops. Let's be modest on this one. Let's look at the VPVR and look at where do we get the majority of the dip in volume. Let's say that we come right back to this level. Okay, for me, this is an interesting one. Look at the dip in volume. It could be a level that, the bears protect, and it's something interesting to consider. Now, look at the risk to reward right now. It's about 5 to 1, which is healthy, and you're looking at about 35% up while you're risking 6%. Guys, that is a very healthy trade right there. Now, there's no guarantee that this thing's going to actually work out like this in a bullish way. There's none, but you can definitely guarantee that you are mitigating your risk. You're only sacrificing a small portion of your portfolio, considering that, you know, maybe you can make that 35%. But look at this. You could definitely wait for lower levels, right? And if you get onto the 1 hour, and I rarely trade the 1 hour, does the 1 hour show you the possibility for another dip down to these levels? It could be possible. It could be possible that you can get a better entry at lower levels closer to invalidation, but right now is not a bad time to start thinking about DCAing, right? DCA a bit now. If it comes down a little bit more, you DCA it a bit more, and if your average position can be brought down a little bit, you'll notice that your risk to reward ratio is actually healthier, and that your stop loss at the end of the day can be trailed up and tightened up as the project, maybe the price actually goes to those higher levels. So what I'm looking for is obviously a TP right around this zone. I like this TP zone, and then ultimately some TPs right at previous highs, right around this level, start to de-risk. Now, big picture, let's start zooming out. Guys, there's price discovery to be had here, right? There's price discovery. Now, if this is an actual channel, generally speaking, what a lot of people do is when they're doing their TA, they look at the top of the channel, they take a measured move to the bottom of the channel, and they start looking at, you know, the height of the channel, and they start saying, well, the likelihood of this breakout hitting $25 is very high. Guys, it could be possible. I'm not going to say no, but the reality is that you want to mitigate your risk. You want to get out of the trade where the majority of the risk starts to begin, right? And the beginning of the majority of the risk, to be honest, is at these previous highs, and a very healthy place to take profits is right around here. And I would be really reluctant on leaving the majority in to see what happens. That's risky. You don't want to see what happens. You want to guarantee that you walk with a bit of profits, especially if you're up significantly. Now, what about if it breaks down? You're actually going to see your stop loss being triggered, and then you have the option to reaccumulate at lower levels at about $9.44. I just want to make it clear that sometimes when that, you know, it does fall, when the price does fall through the volume gap and it gets to this horizontal support, algorithmic buy orders on exchanges get triggered, and a lot of the times you get those quick wicks, those quick buy ups that really don't give you that time and that opportunity to get in a position at that level. So this is where a lot of people start saying, well, the volume gap is not that big, and the reality is, even if it comes down, I'm trading on spot, so I'm happy to hold a negative position and just double down as it comes down to this level. And guys, that's a viable option. You just have to be prepared in the way you distribute your capital. When you get in at this level, you're going to get in with a small portion, and then when you come here, you're going to double or triple down, so you average your cost down. And with that being said, you can bring your overall stop loss lower, and then if you're DCAing here, the intention is to bring your average cost of your entire position right within this zone, more or less. Okay, so if you can get there, you're looking at a risk to reward ratio of 7-to-1, and now you're increasing your profitability to about 65%, which is super healthy. So in this case, you have to understand what type of trader are you going to be. Are you going to put a stop loss in nice and tight and just hope for the best and reaccumulate at lower levels and take the chance that you won't be able to get your entries filled at those lower levels, especially with such a tight volume gap, you know, which the likelihood of getting support here is quite high. And this is why some traders might say, you know what, I'll DCA better. Stay away from leverage, DCA, get in slowly, and then buy the dip at lower levels so I can dollar cost average. Guys, this is the best strategies that work here right now in crypto. If you're new to crypto trading, there's a lot of strategy. Feel free to join live at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, feel free to ask any questions so that we can discuss crypto, of course. And guys, if you appreciated anything that I offered you here in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with that algorithm. If you want to join the Discord group, got lots of great content on there, lots of learning opportunities. There's a channel there for learning resources, and the community is willing to help, of course. Guys, join me live at 7:30 so you can ask any questions. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.